Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday webinar. Um, whether it or not it's your last webinar of the school year or maybe your first webinar of the summer, we are happy to see you. Thanks for joining us today for Yes, Music Play works with upper elementary students with Beth Duhon. Beth, please go ahead.
Hey y'all, thank you for having me. Before I forget my manners, thank you to everybody at Musicplay. Y'all are always so generous with me, generous with the platform, generous with the Wednesday webinars. If you enjoy yourself today, I invite you to go ahead and go back on the site and look at some of my prior Wednesday webinars. I presented Happier Music Teacher, Self-Care for the Music Educator, and also Maximizing Music Play with a Happier Music Teacher. So without any further ado, yes, Musicplay works with upper elementary students. When I'm on Facebook groups, as a lot of y'all are, you might just get this people saying it like gospel, like, oh yeah, Musicplay doesn't work with older students. And I really strongly disagree. I think it's a mindset shift. And that's my big goal with you today, is to get you feeling a lot more comfortable with Musicplay with your upper elementary students, because it absolutely works. I use it with them every single day. So next is a series of mindset shifts. I think the first one is it's okay to have a natural bent towards one grade level or the other. I would say, honestly, most of us do tend. Maybe we enjoy the littles, maybe we enjoy the middles, maybe we enjoy the upper ones, but it's okay to have that natural bent. But it doesn't mean that we can't grow and learn in that area. And certainly the upper elementary ones aren't anyone to be scared of. We just sometimes make them scarier than they are. One of the podcasts that I follow is Debbie O'Shea, the Crescendo Music Education podcast. And I believe Denise has been on it, and I've also been on it. And I just love her. She's sunny. She is from Australia. She has pink hair and tie-dyed shirts, and she's just a ton of fun. And one of her most recent episodes says, "You get what you expect." I think this is especially true with our fifth grade friends. Your campus may go as large as sixth grade. Mine caps off with fifth grade. So I'll be saying fifth grade a lot, but you can definitely make this fit for your context. So Debbie says, you get what you expect. And there are a myriad of ways that we can talk about it. But the biggie is that it's expectations with them from day one. So the way I structured this is I really want to take you through your school year with Musicplay and having high expectations. So expect them to sing, not in a standoff way, not in a rude way, but this is a music room. It's an expectation. You draw on art, you kick a ball in PE, you sing in music. That's simply what we expect. And then having high expectations for them. If you have mediocre expectations, well, they'll rise to meet them. And if you have high expectations, they'll rise to meet them too. And finally, the one thing we could just say and call the webinar good. And when we were having a meeting of presenters a few weeks ago, we talked about this. I think the most important mindset shift for Musicplay in general is Musicplay teaches the teacher. It is not for the kids to sit and get a bunch of content. They can sit and get all sorts of content everywhere all day. That's not what it's about. I feel like it is to teach you so that when it is time for your classes, you can confidently present the content. Now, is it engaging? Yes. Are there good videos? Of course. But like I said, if you're expecting Musicplay to teach for you, I got bad news for you. Nothing can teach for you but you. But the good news is you're going to feel a lot more powerful once you shift that mindset to, oh yeah, Musicplay teaches me and then I teach them. It's almost like just this big buffet of professional development that you have access to anytime. And finally, I just completed my second year on my campus. So I am definitely in the investment part of this phase. Upper elementary is an investment over time. Once you have been at your campus forever, you can literally say, oh yeah, I've been teaching you since kindergarten and now you're a fifth grader. I'm not scared of you. I've known you since you're a kindergartner. And I got some stories about you as a kindergartner. Thank you very much. But it takes a little bit of time to build. Like the investment, you also get to know the families better. So if you can really just shift all that to this is an investment, and sometimes good things take time. And a lot of times when you're new on a campus, your littles are easier, right? Because you're the only music teacher they've had. They know you and they like you. And other people sometimes might feel a sense of loyalty to the former music teacher, a little bit of resistance, a little bit of too cool for school. But trust that if you are building good things, even over the course of a school year, certainly over the course of their elementary time, that's an investment and it will pay off for you with your elementary classes. So just to sum up for the mindset shifts, because like I said, happy music teacher, I'm all about the mindset, but I really feel like mindset matters in this. It's okay to have that natural bent, but also have a growth mindset about the upper students. Quoting Debbie O'Shea, you get what you expect. So have high expectations, positive expectations, firm expectations. Music play is teaching you, not music play is necessarily teaching the students. It's your job to teach the students. And the investment over time piece. So I have not been at any one campus forever. The closest I got was 5 years, but I will tell you that really richly rewarded me when I had the same kids from kinder through fourth, because it was a Title I campus. And by the time they were fourth graders, we knew each other, we trusted each other. We had that language of things from even when they were smaller. And it just felt like everything got easier for that. Unfortunately, you don't get there year 1 or year 2. It literally takes some time, and before long you will be teaching them and their little brothers and sisters and be an institution at the school. But it's an investment and it takes a while. Okay, beginning of the year is a great time to go ahead and set those expectations. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my list. I'm a big fan of Musicplay My List. Hopefully it will show you a little bit of my process there as well. So we're going to go ahead and switch this, but just to give you a quick overview for the beginning of the year, some of the things we'll be looking at: the greet or goodbye poster, my rules, which are my personal rules, not Musicplay, jump in, jump out, great beginning of the year activity, and then whoop ball, which is a Beth Duhon thing. So let's go ahead and trade screens. Okay. So if you search in the search bar for greet or goodbye, you will find this poster. And this poster is on the inside of my door. I am not fancy. Boy, I'm not fancy with decor. But I put it in a page protector. I put some thick black tape around it to frame it. And then every time that I open my door for my classes, this is what we do. And this is how we greet. So 6 ways they can greet me. They're all fine. The bare minimum with me would be a wave and some eye contact. And I liken it with them to, you don't just walk in someone's house without saying hi. So when you come in the music room, I like to greet you. Someone will give you a 10-second hug and you're like, okay, I'm good. All right, hi. But they need that. And maybe you need that too. So I think it's a great thing. My campus is big on threshold greetings. And I don't even know how I stumbled across this on Musicplay, but I think it's just such a nice way to set the tone that in my campus, I have over 800 children. You might have a similar context. You might have way more. You might have way less. But it really gives me a chance to connect with them in a way and just take their temperature as they're coming in. I can tell right away, based on how they greet me. I'm giving them the social thing of greetings. And then also whether they're having a good day or they're having a bad day, I can kind of take the temperature. And we're starting the class on a positive note every single time with a warm greeting. So if you search for that online, the greet or goodbye poster. Okay. Now back to my rules. My rules, they are largely taken from Michael Linson, Classroom Management for Art, Music, and PE Teachers, I think. So this is what I do, and I usually have the students echo it back to me. So I'll say, be safe. They'll echo. Be nice. Work hard. I know y'all jealous of my muscles, right? Raise your hand to speak. I do that every time without fail. And that is on me setting the expectation from the very beginning, what's going to happen. And I tell them with the 5th graders, I'm like, I don't mean be nice, like little pre-K, be nice. I mean, be nice. And sometimes when I say it like that, with that type of tone, they get the idea that this is not a room where we're not nice. And they understand what working hard looks like. They understand what working hard doesn't look like. And as far as raising your hand to speak, honestly, that's not a hill I'm dying on. And if I'm doing things right, we don't have a whole lot of times where they're just on their pockets on a 0, having to silently raise their hand. But when the time comes, we can't be blurting or talking over each other. So just setting those rules from the very beginning. And because that's part of me and my campus culture at all the levels, all the kids know that. And sometimes they'll kind of join in with me. But I try to make it pretty strict so that it is a back and forth. me, and then them. Now, this is not a music play thing. That may even be rules they want. But for me, they feel like they're pretty clean, pretty clear, pretty enforceable. And that's important to me. I think personally, we get into trouble when we start these really soft rules, respect each other and our property. And yes, but sometimes they just need it a little cleaner, a little more clear, and just easier to repeat and do. Okay. So we got them in the door. We did the rules, but not at length. Okay. And this could literally be our first meeting together. Okay. So moving on to jump in, jump out. Okay. I bet most of you like this or know it. If you don't, it is really my favorites that I do literally every year with my 4th and 5th graders. I have yet to have it flop. So I like it because it checks a lot of boxes. The first is making a circle, which if you do the math on kids who are 5th graders this year and you take away about 5 years, that puts us at 2020. I don't think these kids probably in those early days were making circles very much. So even just that basic skill of how we're going to make a circle.
I just counted all the minutes that we have.
That basic skill of how to make a circle in the room, like a team. So the way I do it with them is I tell them, tell your brain your name. I know. Tell your brain your favorite food. I always do food. It's very neutral. It's very easy. It's very, not a lot of thought, not a lot of controversy, just lean and clean. Okay. And so I say, okay, your line is yeah. So I say, here's mine. I'm Mrs. Duhon. Yeah. And usually a kid or two will already know it. They'll kind of be your leaders. But if not, you will kind of demonstrate what that looks like for them. So I'll say, I'm Mrs. Duhon. Yeah. And this is your chance to say something you like. Do not say you like lightly sauteed green beans. No, this is your chance to kind of tap into your inner teenager. You like hot chips. You like queso. You like Pepsi. You like sweet tea. This is not your diet time. This is not your midlife woman time. This is like kids that you're trying to be cool with. And you don't have to make it up. Tap into something you really like. So I'll be like, I'm Mrs. Duhon. Yeah. And I like Takis. Yeah. And usually that gets a little bit of glimmer of recognition with them. They like Takis too. If you're not familiar with Takis, Takis are really good. Takis are rolled spicy chips. They're big down here. They might be big up there too. I don't know. And then I'll tell them, and I'll keep liking them. Yeah. And I'll say, no, this is where it changes. You're just going to echo me. For the rest of my life, for the rest of her life. And I said, okay, cool. Let's do the whole thing again. And I'll repeat that sequence without the prompts just so they get it. Okay. And then for the jump in and jump out, I will physically jump in. And so, but I will tell them, because you'll have a couple, we are not trying to be the long jump champions of the world. We're not trying to, be safe, and that we are not just a light jump. So I'll tell them, jump in. They'll echo, jump out, and I'll model what that looks like for me. Turn yourself around. I'll show them what that looks like. Once again, we're not trying to be a Tasmanian devil. We're just trying to be a human being. Turn ourselves around. Jump in. Jump out. Introduce yourself. And there'll usually be a Smarlack who will introduce himself. I'm like, yes, hello. Nice to meet you. And then we'll get into it. And then I'll introduce myself again. So I'll go through the whole spiel again. And then we'll actually play it. And I will pick the next person. So on the introduce yourself, I'll go ahead and do my part again. I'm Mrs. Duhon. Yeah. And I like queso. Yeah. Or whatever it might be for you. Once I do that, then I pick a very eager, very sure thing type of kid to do the next part. And they might need some prompting. So we might go through it again. Your name, what do you like? And I'll keep liking it for the rest of my life, for the rest of her life, whatever that looks like. Once you get going with that, you can see the energy of the room and the energy of the game. Sometimes we don't want to give every single kid in the room a turn. And sometimes the vibe is, yes, every single kid in the room is going to get a turn and a chance to participate. I am not someone who's going to keep a detailed list of who had a turn in June of 2025 on jump in, jump out. I just kind of let it play itself out. But this is one of my go-tos then, because the kids like it. It's easy. they know it, it's teamwork, that I really try to transition as soon as I can to letting them play the game without me. So that first lesson, maybe we have it and it's kind of structured with me being the leader. And then as soon as possible, I will busy myself in another part of the room, still monitoring, and let them play the game. So if you have some English language learners, you could do the sentence stems, and you could even post this on your board. Tell yourself your name, your food. My name is, and I like, and I'll keep liking it for the rest of my life. You could even post that. You can practice it depending on what you need. So anyway, perennial favorite, one of my favorites. I use it every year. Jump in, jump out. Okay, go with me here on Whoop Ball. Whoop Ball, I think, is my own creation. If it's not, I will gladly credit whoever came up with it. So I have a playground ball. I got it from the PE coaches, or you buy it at your drugstore or whatever. And once again, that same circle. Now, we might do some other things between this, but you can be sure in the first quarter school, I'm doing some Whoop Ball. So I tend to do it in order, but a pattern. So I'll just go back and forth around the circle. So it's not super obvious who I'm going towards, but it's a pattern to me so I don't get lost and miss somebody. And this is a voice exploration, but they don't know it. And I don't use the S word, which is sing, because I don't want them thinking singing, because sometimes that's a real loaded word for them. So instead, I just say, do what I do. So I lightly toss it, whoop, and they toss it back, whoop. Friend, you can get so much information about them from a simple round of Whoop Ball. You can tell. Now, are you going to have someone who looks you in the eye and goes, whoop? Yeah. And that's information. And you can choose to engage with it or not. Sometimes I just lightly pass, keep on going. Okay, that's information. I don't necessarily highlight on that. If it's a repeated pattern behavior, then we might have a talk about it. But literally, like I said, I like this for a lot of levels once they have the hand-eye coordination to do it, because they're up, they're moving, there's a ball. Thank you. They're up, they're moving, there's a ball, and they get the idea in those first days of class that this is not going to be, which is fine and has its place. But I think it's a way to get your more reluctant things going. And you'll be surprised. A lot of these kids cannot catch. It's okay. A lot of times if they miss, I blame myself. Oh, bad throw, sorry. And I'll do it again, and that's okay. Or you will find someone who is really trying and they go, ooh, and that's information. So I just say using your voice. One for the whole class. Great. Thank you for clarifying. So this is a little bit of a control freak thing for me. I tend to go that way more than not as a teacher. So I am for this very first round, and thank you for clarifying. They are on the outside of the circle. I am in the inside. And then I have the one ball that I toss to them one at a time and for my part, lots of eye contact, lots of smile, lots of encouragement. This is also a little SEL stuff where I am trying to just let them know that we're cool. You are safe here, that you can participate and move your body and your voice. And this is what we do. And it just normalizes it and makes it fun. So I'll toss to them, whoop, and they'll toss back to me, whoop. And that's it. And generally, on this first go round, I don't toss back. There's no judgment there. It's just literally almost an assessment for my information and for getting them going. Now, once you get going with that as part of your classroom culture, it's another one of those flexible activities that always works if you need it to. So then I'll say, okay, round and round she goes. Where she stops, no one knows. Whoop, whoop. And that keeps them on their toes. It keeps them in that head voice. And then, like I said, just adds a little bit of excitement to it. Maybe later on, future lesson, it could be student-led. I will say to the kids, okay, what else could we do? Or how could we change this up? Or what are your ideas? So it doesn't feel all like I'm sage on the stage with the Whoop Ball. But like I said, jump in and jump out and Whoop Ball have not failed me yet for starter activities at the beginning of the year. My goals here. So we want everyone participating. We want everybody up out of their seat. We want everyone feeling comfortable. We want everyone excited about music class. And if they're coming to your room and this is your very first meeting with them ever. You are the brand new teacher on your campus. You really want them feeling, and maybe their prior music class was very positive, maybe it wasn't, but you want them feeling, because they come in nervous, honestly, because they don't know what to expect. They don't know you. They don't know what you're going to make them do or not do. So this is a way to make it happen. And with Woot Ball, I try not to let someone just out and out not participate, but I'm also not going to strong arm it. And same with jump in, jump out. This is not like my power struggle day. This is just, it's what we do. And then if someone, if I get any pushback, any of that, we're just like, quickly moving on, keep it moving. That's a tomorrow problem. So that is my beginning of the year things that I support with Musicplay. For the jump in, jump out slide, I think you could just search any of these. And I think it's probably in some of the back to school units. That's where I have it. And then once I do this, you can see I literally use my list. It's not just a show. I would just pop it in my list, and you could sort it by grade level, or you could sort it by week, but I would just keep it there. Sometimes now, there is a demo video of a class doing this, and I'm going to say this a lot in this hour. I would really use those sparingly. I feel like those demo videos are where we're teaching the teacher. We're not, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're not like, let's sit and watch the kids do it, because then they're going to say, oh, her shirt's weird, or what is this? Nope, you use it to teach you, and then you present it to the kids. But especially for your English language learners, or for people who need a little bit of a visual, I'm not a good memorizer, like at all. It's kind of weird. You could post this up on your board once you get going and once you've introduced the song, in case they're worried about it. And they get that little notation piece while they're actually seeing it too. Kristen, you're my new favorite. Thank you. Okay. 50 Nifty is not on Musicplay, but for me, for me, that has just, like I said, American, that has just been a favorite with all of my students always. And what I have done at most of my campuses is we save that for a 5th grade song. They know that it's going to be 5th grade Veterans Day. It is a school tradition. They look forward to it. Now, the little kids think it's cool, and they want to know it, and they want to know the words and everything. I think they just love it. They love it. So for things like that, don't waste it. Don't make it your 2nd grade song too. It is not your 2nd grade song. It is your 5th grade song, and only the big kids can handle this song, and only the big kids can do all that. I think it's really super helpful to protect those type of things. So 50 Nifty for life. Incidentally, Ray Charles wrote it. I think that's fabulous. It is not going anywhere. The kids absolutely love it. And so that is something that we will perform every fall, generally at a Veterans Day. We have also dabbled a little bit with first responders programs, but generally that is a Veterans Day for our oldest students for all time. Okay, so along that same line, I'm going to skip just a second. Okay. Another option is Grand Old Flag for movement. But we're going to back up here a little bit. Sorry, I got a little bit off track. So after 50 Nifty, for my school and my culture, this is another not Musicplay. We will do Armed Forces. Oh, I just learned something about Ray Charles. I've been spreading this information, y'all. Thank you for teaching me. For Armed Forces medley, we do an Armed Forces medley where every level, K through 4, is in charge of a different song for the medley. So kinder is Army, 1st grade is Navy, so on and so forth. So at our Veterans Day program, they will each be in charge of the song for one branch, and then 5th grade will sing the song for all branches. Once again, that's one I really enjoy. I've done it a couple different campuses. It's always met well. And by the time they come to 5th grade to perform, they know all those service songs for their branches. And that just makes a nice, easy, predictable first few weeks in fall. Okay. Another thing I really enjoy, and I think almost everything else from this will be completely Musicplay, I just threw in a few of my own things there, is anything mass movement with a prop is really a winner, because the kids may sing with gusto on 50 Nifty, but it may be less of a sure thing on other songs. So if you're worried about that, or if you just want a really punchy visual impact, I'm a big fan of these mass performances. Now, it takes a little bit of pre-planning. You need to know and have enough budget or enough creating to have enough props for everybody. So Denise is demonstrating this with a ribbon. For me at my campus, we have a very robust grant program, and I was able to get a bunch of movement grant items. And one of the ones that I added in there was red, white, and blue scarves. So we bought enough red, white, and blue scarves for the whole grade level. And then we watched along and learned along. And this is one where I'll be honest, I let the video do some teaching, where we watched along with Denise's moves. And then we counted out loud and worked them out for us. And with the left-right thing, or whether you're going to mirror or not, people have strong feelings on this. There are even some Chrome extensions where you can mess with a little bit. But as long as you're consistent, I think that's the big thing. If you know with the group that we are always going exactly what the video is doing, or we're always going to the right first, or whatever it might be. So if you do not know this, this is a real gem. I'm going to share a little bit of it with you just so you can see what she's doing and then talk about what it looked like with our fifth graders. So this is Denise performing the ribbon routine to Stars and Stripes.
Hey Beth, sorry to interrupt. Last time you shared, did you share your audio as well?
Are we missing the audio, Danae?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's going to have to be either or. So I will go ahead and cut that a little bit short. I think we all can audiate Stars and Stripes forever. Does that sound good, Danae?
Sounds great. Yep, absolutely. Just wanted to make sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we got to audiate Stars and Stripes forever for a little bit. So the way that we did it is I never, ever, ever, ever introduce with the prop first. It's always with our hands. And then, like I said, we also think about all the performance things, right? Where our hands and feet are going to be, where our box is, where we're aiming for, staying in our bubble, performance space, performance way to the beat, and making sure all of that is moving smoothly. But this is a great resource. And like I said, it really is powerful and good. Anything with so I have done mass plates. I have done mass ribbon ones that we actually made with recorder cleaners and also some cut up tablecloth. We've done it all. Scarves, plates, ribbons. I'm sure there's something else we've probably done as well. And that just a visual impact of having the whole stage, red, white, and blue with the students moving together. Even if there's a few of them who are not getting it perfect, it's really impactful. And like I said, it really checks a lot of boxes as far as them listening to a good masterwork while they move to the beat. Along that same lines, and I did this with fourth, you're a Grand Old Flag. There are so many ways to Grand Old Flag around here. Y'all just don't even know. So there's the song actions, which are fantastic. Your kids will love them. And then the streamer choreography and the plate choreography. So literally, honestly, if you just did one of these each year, the crowd will be none the wiser that you're just using the same song. Or it can be one, I have done this where we use the song and the actions at the beginning, and then our closer was with the streamers, and that was very effective and very interesting. A lot of your students who may not be your super singers may still be great at moving to the beat. They may still have really good stage presence and maybe a little bit more comfortable and building trust with you when you're doing movement activities instead of just a stand and sing, which I love standing and singing. It has its place, but I think for performances that have a little bit more pop, a little bit more wow, I like to have those visual elements. Another plus for that, I think, I do not have the gift of making a stage look cute. I have not been super successful with delegating that. I think Kristen Lukow, I think I'm saying her name right, has a great idea if you've seen any of her videos where she has the patriotic balloons just behind with the stars. That looks like amazing. I'll probably do that next program. But the pack visually, Luko, thank you. Kristen, are you in here? I just think the pop of that visually is fantastic. So if you do not have the gift of decorating, I say balloon it up. Hey, Kristen. balloon it up, and then also think about those mass props. I think they're just highly effective. Kristen, I miss you. I've stopped the Facebook group, so I haven't been interacting with you so much. It's good to see you. Okay, so halftime. If y'all have any questions, this is very laid back with me. Like I said, this is not a camera on situation unless you want to. You can be looking things up. You can be putting questions in the chat, scrolling on Musicplay, finding and saving your own things in your list, whatever is working and good for you. Okay, so that brings us to roughly holiday time, right? We've done beginning of the year. We've done our first responders or our Veterans Day or other patriotic program. And so now we're around the middle of the year. Okay. Another thing with Musicplay, as long as you're intentional about it, I don't feel married to necessarily the grades that are assigned for every song. Out in the world, folk songs do not have a certain grade level assigned. And same with the folk dances. They're suggestions, right? So that's how I see it. So a Pizza Hut is actually taken from the second grade song list. I freely use it with them, but I think you have to finesse how you introduce anything with upper elementary. So the first thing I say is, well, we'll be in our sit spots in our regular class formation, beginning of class. And I'm like, okay, favorite fast food, go, raise your hand. Oh, you like Chick-fil-A? Yeah, me too. Oh, Cane's? Yeah, okay, right on. What do you like, Domino's? So we're going through, we're shouting out different, fast food places, Burger King. Ooh, Burger King. No, they get riled up about fast food. I do too. I'm 48 and I still get riled up about fast food. So it's an easy connection point for a lot of them. And so I'll say, hey, y'all, my first job was at Pizza Hut. And they'll echo me. And I said, and when I was a kid, we had a family reunion. And that was a highlight of my year because someone brought a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. They echo me. And when we cruise the town square on Friday nights, we go by McDonald's. So they go ahead and we do it in a talking voice. So I just go line by line, Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut. Or I could even go word by word, but that's a little, we can go the whole phrase. A Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut. And then we shift it into the singing voice. A Pizza Hut, a Pizza Hut. And they echo back and forth until we're doing all those moves. We sit and sing it. That might be one class. Then in a future class, and I'm on a 6-day rotation, and there's another music teacher on my campus. So the kids have music quite frequently. They don't have music with me quite frequently. Oh, awesome, Beth. Great name, by the way. Yeah, this is another one of those. It's a perennial favorite. I just feel like some of these are just, they're going to go well in almost any context. So then I will have them circle up. And I will have them just stand and sing it without me. So we got that rocking and rolling. And I'll say, keep going. But just so you know, I'm going to try to mess you up. So they will sing it regularly. I will enter at the point for the round. And I feel like the moves are very helpful for that because they make it very visual. And then they'll see me sing at the end. I'm like, yeah, y'all start and I end. You're by yourself at the beginning. I'm by myself at the next part. Cool? And then I'll find someone who I know is a sure thing. Okay. Hey, Leroy, can you come with Miss Duhon? We're going to try to mess him up. Now you have to be careful that they don't see mess him up as shouting. Okay. If they get there, my Music 2 long-term sub last year said singing's not shouting and shouting's not singing. So we shut that down real fast. We're trying to mess them up, but not mess them up by shouting and screaming. So we'll get that person. We'll walk around the outside of the circle while they're doing the moves and walking while they're doing the moves. And then I'll say, Leroy, we didn't mess them up. Go ahead and I'll pick a girl, you pick a boy, and we'll try to mess them up this time. Until we do that multiplication math that we have about half of the students on the outside of the circle in the mess them up group. And we have about half on the inside of the circle for the regular group. So that singing in two parts and singing around or canon, depending on how picky you are, is just natural and fun for them. Now, some of your students will say, hey, I know that. Now, I have heard different pronunciations. I have heard a rum sum sum and I've heard a ram sam sam. But then you can transition to this and you could then change your moves, right? ram, sam, sam, ram, sam, sam, gooly, 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 ram, sam, sam. And for our Rafi, we do Rafi, Rafi. But whatever works for you. And so you're building layers of complexity with that. So you're building just a unison piece, then you're building the two-part piece, and then you're building the two-part with Morocco piece of it. So once again, those have never failed me yet. And I'm seeing people share in the chat that it really works with multiple grade levels. And some of them may have had exposure to it as younger kids, and that's also okay. The one thing I would say, if you are grabbing from things that you have used that are marked as a lower level, make sure you're just really on point with your other fellow music teacher. If you have one on campus or you've kind of communicated with who was there before, you don't want them feeling like, we did this one first. You want them to feel like it's fresh and new. So maybe if it's something they did extensively as a kid, it's not the one for you. Okay, moving on. Black Snake. I love Black Snake. Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. So if you didn't see, Kristen said they like to create ones with additional restaurants. So once again, then you're checking just a whole other box, right? So we're improvising on top of all that. We do so much good stuff. Okay, so Black Snake. I'm in Texas. Our standards are called the Teeks, and Ti-ta-ti or Cinco Pa is one of our fifth grade standards. This is a great song for that fifth grade standard, has a fun game to go along with it. And once again, I have never had kids who do not enjoy this song and game. So what I'll normally do is I'll sing it and I'll have them count how many. So I'll just sing it while they keep the beat, right? Just light patting on the knees. And then I'll have them put up a finger for every time I sing the phrase, Black Snake, where are you hiding? 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 Don't you bite me. We established that it's 3. It's just really my way to get them to listen to it another time. So we've listened to it while we're patting. We've kept track of how many times. We may do a talking voice back and forth. Pretty easy song. We established that it's really the same thing 3 times with a different ending. Pretty straightforward. Now, you can choose, depending on how long your classes are and what you prefer, you might introduce the game the same way. Same time, you might do it a different time. You could even introduce it with the game and just assume, hey, they're going to catch on, straightforward song. Okay, so for this, once again, I tend to not use the tracks. It's nice to have the tracks when I'm doing a performance piece, but on a random Tuesday in class, am I playing a track for Black Snake? I am not. But I am putting this up there. Once again, it just gives that extra layer of support for kids who need that, who maybe didn't catch the lyrics the first time, or they're English language learners, or they just want to see what's going on, plus a visual. So we moved on from there. Okay, once again, for the game demo, if you're not familiar with the game, it's a loud and soft. It's kind of like a Lucy Locket. But you're not going to sit there and say, okay, kids, this is how we play Black Snake. Watch the video. No, this is to teach you. So basically, Black Snake, we sing louder when they're close to this. Someone hides a snake. We sing louder when they're close to the snake. We sing softer when they're far away. We label it with the dynamic names. And once again, we reinforce that singing's not shouting and shouting's not singing. It's a singing game, not a shouting game. But for your own purposes, then you could go ahead and watch the game demo just in case you were fuzzy on anything about Black Snake. I have bought actual, Black Snake toys. I have used the blue internet cord and called it the Black Snake. You do not have to be super fussy with this for these game props. It's fun once you kind of have that established. I messed up and got rid of all my game props. Don't ask. So I don't have a lot of my good stuff anymore. So I'm going to have to start building that up again as we go. Okay. Now, here's where I really think Musicplay shines, and I'm a fan. Okay. Hope y'all can see that. Yes, the videos are awesome for a guest teacher to view. I very much agree. So here's what I think. A lot of these songs, I believe, are taken from Denise's Orff and Kodai training. But a lot of our friends are going on Teachers Pay Teachers to buy the very same thing that their district already provides for Musicplay. Why? So if you're on the fence at all, pop it in the search engine and see if that song that you love from your levels is there. It will be. Almost, 90% of the time it will be. And then you can use it like this. So, and you can pick and choose. I don't think I have ever used all 9 on a single song. I'm not even sure that's really quite the idea. So I'll pick someone up to point to the beat. Black snake, where are you hiding? They'll point to the beat. We've established that. Well, this is different. Okay, they're going to point. You're going to tap every time your mouth moves, right? Black snake, where are you hiding? Okay. We're good there. I pass, but not always. Okay, you're going to show me 1, 2, or 3. Black snake, and that gets pretty repetitive. They get the idea. Where are you? Hide. That's a little awkward, but we can work right through it. Then, and then we would do a quick review of ta and titi. We probably need a quick review of ta and titi. And then depending on what you call these, I say ti, ta, ti. Some people say cinco, pa. And then I might, with my whiteboard or my interactive whiteboard, show that I'm breaking this in half. Each half is a T, and that it's going on either side of there, and it's uneven. So it's 3 sounds on how many beats? 2 beats. And that's kind of our first introduction to ti, ta, ti. Does this happen the same day as a game? Nope. This could be literally over the course of weeks, where you're literally introducing the song, doing the game, and then reviewing this. And you could even do the beat, the rhythm, and the sounds on a different day. And then this is where you can gamify it, right? Having the kids come up one at a time. Or if they have devices, you could have them do this as part of a center, if you just, or even do a whole Black Snake center that day. Anyway, I think Black Snake wins on a whole bunch of levels. If you see them more often than I do, then you can go a little deeper. You could have them make up their own. Rhythm sort is fun and just engages a different part of their brain. And rhythm erase is such a winner. I love rhythm erase, and they do too. So go ahead and use your preferred counting system, tap and say it with them, and they're like, oh, oops. Go. Oh, that's weird. It keeps disappearing. Before they're doing the whole thing with scaffolds, very confidently doing those 4 bars memorized. Like I said, and with 5th grade, you know this, I know this. We said this in the meeting. Make everything a game. Make everything a competition. Make everything a challenge. It doesn't always have to be boys versus girls. That's not always even advisable. But if you're just looking to just spice it up that way a little bit, make it a competition. Red row versus green row. Who's going to win? Who's going to be up here first? Who's going to get the most points? Who can read this rhythm? Who can sing this pattern? Who can sign it? Who can keep it moving fast and keep it very competitive within reason? And you'll know your classes. You'll have the classes like, oh, yeah, they cannot handle this. We're not competing in here. And the ones that do well with it, and it helps them perform better. So I think Black Snake has been successful every time I've used it with 5th grade. Some people use it for 4th grade too. Okay. SoFa Challenge is great for this. So literally, we're using the pentatone, right? If your kids, maybe with a former teacher, have not had a lot of solfege, or maybe you yourself aren't super comfortable in solfege land. I had it in college, but I certainly didn't grow up that way in high school. This is a great way to introduce it, So they literally, only trick I would say with this is be very careful before you fill in that last space, because it will disappear or show the score. But literally go ahead and then have them think it through. If this is do, what does this have to be? Okay, let's put in do. And it will put it in as they go. But it's a great way to kind of get them thinking that way. What do you predict the highest sound will be in this grouping? La? Yeah, I agree. Let's fill in those other do's. Oh, it goes just right down the pattern? Okay. Well, it skips something. And if this is exactly like this, are they going to have the same letters? So get thinking about those type of questions. And once again, I'm clicking through for you, but in the class, you can milk this or not as long as you need to. It depends on you'll gauge the interest level. You'll know when you're losing them, and you never want to wear out a game or activity. You always want to leave them wanting more. So the second that you feel it flagging a little bit, I'm all for, grit and all that. But I think sometimes when you're losing them, just wrap it up and call it good for the day. And that concept will have to wait for another day. But this is such a nice way, like I said, it even says challenge, to get them thinking the SOFA stuff. And then once you get it, have them sing it. If you are used to signing, have them sign and sing it. So that just becomes part of what they do. Okay. Check-in time. I think we're good. There is so much. So I think with permission, I am going to do the fast drive-by way of the rest of the things I am here, because I have about 15 more slides. So a little less demo and a little bit more talking you through what I'm doing. So this is such a great clip. If you have not used it with your classes, it is America's Got Talent from a long time ago, but it still tracks. This is a group of kids performing Los Machetes. It's adorable. The kids eat it up, which then transitions you into the dance. So I would go straight to the fun part, which is the middle, and teach them this part. And like I said, you can keep this up on the board because that can be a little bit of a prompt for you. But what I'm not doing is playing the demo for them. So what I like to do is go back. So they'll watch it. That's kind of my interest icebreaker for the lesson. And we'll talk. So we'll do the tricky part that we saw the kids do. So I will slowly, under tempo, talk about that. So right. So click right, click left, click right, click, cha-cha. Talk them through it with my type of words and give them a chance to practice and say, go, practice. Okay. And then click and right and click and left and click and back and cha-cha-cha. Okay. And get them used. So behind your back, cha-cha-cha. Get them used to that. Give them some time. Kids are just like us. They want the chance to figure it out. So you don't have to micromanage that part. Give them a minute with control to kind of figure that out. It's going to take them a minute. Give them a minute, but not too long. And then you say, okay, we're going to go our circle. We're going to go clockwise, 16. What do you predict we're going to do if we go the next 16? Yep, counterclockwise. And then do the same thing when you wave your stick. Okay, if we take 8 steps to the right, what do you predict we're going to do next? Yep, and same stick or different stick? Different stick. So give them those leading questions, kind of prompt them. And then even though it's listed here, low-key label those sections. And then once you've successfully, another trick, we talked about this earlier when we were watching the ribbon stick demo. Do not put those sticks in their hands first thing. Have them learn it without the props, even under tempo talking speed at the top with the props, and then add in as a group. And here's the chant that I use. This is a Beth thing, not a Musicplay thing. And you can just see if it works with you and your context for your kids. So it's a little chant and they echo me. The level is a 0. The level is a 0. We move to the beat. We move to the beat. We move our body safely. We move our body safely. Or else we have a seat. Or else we have a seat. And I tell them that or else isn't a threat, but it's if you choose to be unsafe, you're choosing not to be in the activity. That's a bummer. And I leave it like that. And if they do get up here with the volume or they're chit-chatting during the dance, the level is a 0. Or if a kid, is using the machete like an actual machete instead of a rhythm stick, we move our body safely. Just gentle reminder, not harsh at all, but that's the expectation when we move. I love Los Machetes. Great thing. Another crowd pleaser. Another great one for performance. Like I said, you do have to have enough sticks or props for that to work. Okay. Form tool. I use this at all levels. I super duper love the form tool. So basically, following this, you're going to have them map it out. Okay. What do we call the first section no matter what? Yep. A. Was the next section the same when we were doing that front and back and click, click, click? Oh, no, let's call it something different. Was the next part like the beginning or something different? Oh, not like A and not like B. Well, let's label that C. Did we go back like the beginning? And so just talk them through that. And the form tool is in your toolbox. Like I said, I really love the way it takes something that's a little abstract, like the form of the music or the form of the dance, and makes it very clear and very visual. And the students can just do that. And then you could even tack on the other things if it's appropriate. Okay, recorder. It depends on your context. For my school, my teaching partner does recorder 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I do it as a unit in 5th. So I choose to embed the class code for recorder in my learning management system. We use Schoology. And so when you go to print handout, that is a nice PDF. So I would just print this as a PDF. And then I would save that and put it in my learning management system so that students know that they can log in for that and then go to the instrument unit for recorder. I love all of this. I think there's so many different ways you can use it. Like I said, I like having the videos to play along with. My teaching partner uses some Artie Almeida Recorder Express resources. So I feel like between the two of us, they're getting a pretty well-balanced recorder curriculum. And I like that we have the play-alongs for it. It's super good, I think, for the kids who maybe are not tracking along as well when they have the letter names on it and the note highlights, and also showing this. It just dignifies it a little bit if they're having some trouble. If you are not—
Hey, Beth, I just wanted to interrupt. We've got 10 minutes left, and we got a couple of questions that I was hoping that I could get to you.
That's good.
But I think a great idea would be if you wanted to create this as a shareable My List, I can definitely link it in the workshop page, and then the attendees can take a look at it if you're cool with that.
That's amazing. Yes.
Okay, perfect. We'll talk about that after.
Okay.
But yeah, first question is a big one from a new music teacher. I'm on a 3-day rotation with K to 6, and I have class 1 on day 1, class day on day 2, class day 3 on day 3. Am I just going to pick and choose and go through the lessons prior to select items, since I see all of the kids only once a week? What do you recommend? I think they're asking best planning method for once a week.
Ooh, that once a week can come quickly. So if I'm understanding correctly, it's not always on the same day. It kind of rotates through 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
That's what it looks like based on the question, yes.
Okay. If it were me, there are some documents in here, and I'm not sure exactly where they are. Maybe y'all can help me, where it talks about the posters, what we learn in 5th and what we learn in 4th and all of that. And there are also some documents where it is literally some long-range planning by month with the concept. So I would go through, and because you see them fairly regularly, I would go through that and map out my big concepts for month. So for example, when I am doing September, if you're seeing your kids more often, you might have the ability to do all the enrichment items in Black Snake. Whereas I see them less frequently, so I'm probably only going to just scratch the surface of those rhythm activities. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'm not seeing a response from the person who asked the question, but I think it sounds like a great answer.
If you need me to clarify, I will, because I kind of lost myself a little bit. Planning's tough, honestly. Planning takes a minute. It's hard just seeing them with 3 out of 5 days. Allison, if you want to mute, that's cool. Is it hard because you feel like you're seeing, like it's not on a regular day that you're always seeing them?
No, it's just that. So like I'm seeing like class 1 on all Mondays, and class 2 on all Tuesdays, and class 3 on all Wednesdays. So it's going to be like I see everybody in K through 6, but it's like I only see them once a week.
Are you saying with some Monday holidays and stuff, there are a few kids who aren't getting the same amount of instruction?
Yeah, that too. And then it's like a hit and a miss. And then like for right now, we're only doing like a 5-6 program for Christmas. So I'm like, when do I start like Christmas time stuff? Like along with these, because I know that there was like modules in here that are like in August, day 1, do this, or like day 2, do this. So then I'm like, okay, so essentially day 2 is actually my week 2.
Okay,
So
I
like
think
that's
I got
kind
you.
of hard for me. Yeah.
Okay. Here's a couple strategies there that I use for myself. I would figure if they only get one thing, they get this, if that makes sense. So using Black Snake just for an easy example. If they only get one thing, they get the Black Snake game. If they get two things, they get the Black Snake game and the Black Snake solfege. If they only get three things, they get the Black Snake game, the Black Snake solfege, and the Black Snake rhythm. So there may be classes that get more just based on how much you see them. And literally the way I keep track of that, so I have a binder, this is very old school, a binder with my class list printed and a sticky note. And then on that sticky note, I might write, you know, June 25th, missed Black Snake this week. You know, 6/18, missed a field trip. And that is just kind of my shorthand to look at it and know what they got or didn't get. But I also have priority. If they only get one thing, they get this. But I'm not short on planning because then I have those other activities for the students that I'm seeing more frequently. And regarding holiday, I would say I have never regretted starting too early for a program. I have regretted starting too late for a program. So given the two, I would definitely err on the side of earlier than late. Oh, you're welcome, Allison. Thank you. Now I understand your question a little bit better.
All right, perfect. And then I have a couple of questions about some of the resources you showed today. Can you show where that greeting poster is linked from the very beginning?
That is a great question. I put it in my list and I just searched it on the site, but let's go ahead and search it and see what comes up. Oh, an important hint for y'all. When this comes up the list, go ahead and remove that because it's going to mess you up. Okay. So I searched the search bar, greet or goodbye poster, and it came up as a download.
All right, perfect. Somebody was wondering about Ram Sam Sam. How do you quote unquote mess them up?
Oh, okay. So I am singing the part two. So they are singing the regular part in this, just beginning to end, the regular song. And then I'm entering at the canon, which I usually tell them that I say, when you get to McDonald's, I'm going to go to Pizza Hut. So when they start McDonald's, McDonald's, that's when I start the song again. And so I'm in canon with them. So my level 2 Kodai teacher would say that in reference for rounds. And she had a real playful, fun attitude about like, I'm going to mess you up. And so I stole that and use it with my kids. And it's a good way to introduce the canon scene.
All right, brilliant. Can you please, pardon me, can you please repeat what you say for Los Machetes? The level is a 0. We move our body safely, etc.
The level is a 0. We move to the beat. We move our body safely, or else we have a seat. So I'm happy to type it up and maybe put that in the My List when we share it. Yes,
I did have a couple of questions about that in particular, actually, in the chat. So I think people will really appreciate that.
I had fun making the list. So there's a lot more there than I got to tonight. There's probably about, we'll just say there's a lot more there than what I got to tonight.
All right, brilliant. Well, then I'm sure everyone will really appreciate having access to it. So that is great. And for those of you who don't know, if you really like the way Beth has made the list, once we make it shareable, you will actually be able to duplicate it yourself and make any adjustments to fit your classroom exactly how you'd want it. So definitely keep an eye out for that when we get that up. It might not be tonight. I'm not sure because I know Beth wants to add a couple things to it. So keep your eyes out for it. We'll have the link posted on the workshops page. That is actually all of the questions that I have from people, but I would like to take this moment to mention our summer symposium this year. So for those of you who haven't heard, we are having our annual summer symposium in St. Louis this year. It is Rollin' on the River. So it is 3 days, which is to say 18 hours of professional development in St. Louis from July 14th to July 17th. We're offering in-person and live stream options for those of you who are interested in attending. Let me just grab the link here. Actually, Beth, do you mind if I just take over screen share just so people can see where it is? All right, folks. So if you haven't seen our workshops page before, you go to workshops.musicplay.ca and you can click either if you want to register for the live or the virtual. Register now. And this is some of this information is what you'll see once you've registered. If you are unregistered, you'll see a lot of great information about what we offer, who's presenting, where it is, that kind of stuff. It's $200 to attend, and we have some really great sessions planned. And Beth will actually be there as an attendee as well. So if you want to see Beth in person, it's a great time to be there. In Eastern time, that will be, so St. Louis is in Central time, so Eastern time will be 1 hour later. So that's to say we'll be starting at 9 a.m. if you join with the live stream. So you would be starting at 10 a.m. in Eastern time. And then that would go till 6 p.m. Central time every day or 7 p.m. Eastern time. Please feel free to send us a message to support@musicplay.ca if you have any questions, or you can also check out our workshop site, and we have lots of FAQ on there. So if you have any things that you're wondering about, we, fingers crossed, have answered the questions. But thank you so much, everyone. We hope you have a fantastic evening and wonderful either end of year or beginning of your summer sessions. So enjoy. Thanks so much. And thanks again.